If you're traveling to China for the first time, there are a few things you need to know, and it's best to be prepared so you have a smooth journey. I've been living in Shanghai for nearly 20 years, and in this video, I'll be demonstrating some of the things you can do to make your stay in the city a lot more convenient. Before we begin, I would recommend visiting english.shanghai.gov.cn. The website has any and all information regarding the arrival checklist, public transportation, recommended restaurants, points of interest, and more. The information on the site is updated regularly.
Booking a hotel in China can be a little tricky, as not every hotel is allowed to host foreign nationals. Now, if you're staying at 4- and 5-star hotels, you're fine. But if you're looking to do things maybe a little bit cheaper or feeling a little adventurous, you need to check and see. Now, although you can book a hotel in China on just about any travel app or any booking app, it's best to check on trip.com because, right here, we'll click here on this hotel. They have a window in here where you can actually see whether or not the hotel is allowed to cater to foreign nationals.
One more thing. You'll need to register at the police station nearest to the place that you're staying within 24 hours of arriving here in Shanghai. But if you stay in a hotel, you should be fine, as hotels that service foreign nationals automatically register you at check-in. Shanghai has 2 international airports located about 40 kilometers from each other: Pudong International Airport and Hongqiao International Airport. Most international flights arrive at Pudong.
So you've just arrived at Pudong International Airport, and naturally, your phone doesn't work. You've got no cellular service and no Wi-Fi. I've got a local phone number, so for me to get Wi-Fi is very simple. Simply type in my phone number, and I've received the code 2083. And done. I'm now connected to the airport Wi-Fi for free. However, if you've got a foreign phone card, this will not work. So you have to make use of one of these stations right over here. It's a Wi-Fi kiosk. You place your passport on the deck with the photo page facing out. Start scanning, and there you are. There's the airport free Wi-Fi, got an account, and a password. Now, right after you exit the baggage claim area into the arrivals hall, just at the end of the hallway, there's 2 very, very convenient desks. One of them, you can pick up a local SIM card, and that will give you a phone number. And right next door to that is a digital payment help desk. This will help you hook up your bank card to Alipay, which makes things so much simpler in China, whether you want to book a taxi, take a subway, or order food.
Paying for things in China is a little bit different than other countries. Cash is seldom used, especially in the big cities. Now, many places do have credit card machines, so you can swipe your credit card, but not every place has that. The easiest way to pay for things in China is using QR codes, either through WeChat or Alipay. Now, you can download these 2 apps into your phone and then link your credit card to these apps, making it much easier to make purchases around the city. And here's how you do it. Okay, so first we'll open up Alipay, and then we'll go to Me. Now, if we look through Me, you'll see a heading for bank cards. And then all you need to do is add a card. Very standard practice. Success! Now, to make purchases on Alipay, once again, we'll go back to the home screen, and then you simply either scan the QR code at the venue, or you can generate your own QR code and they will scan you. See, right now it's linked to my debit card, but I can easily change that to link it to the MasterCard. Simple as that.
I prefer taking the metro, or subway, in Shanghai. It's always on time and it's easier to manage than the city's extensive bus system. If you want to take a subway from the airport, you can get to it from any of the airport's arrival halls. Just follow the signs.
This is your standard ticket vending machine at the subway station. It'll take banknotes, but the most convenient way to do it is to use Alipay or WeChat simply by scanning a QR code. So here we go. This one's handy. You can even switch it to English if you want. Now, we're at the airport now. We're going to go to People's Square, which is on line 2. So you tap People's Square right there. Bang. And there you are. QR code payment. It gives us a QR code. We simply open up the Alipay, hit scan the code, 7 yuan, confirm, put in the password, and I got my ticket. Of course, if you want to skip buying a ticket altogether, you can generate a QR code right on board the Alipay app and use that to get on the subway.
There are 2 videos on english.shanghai.gov.cn that show you how to take a bus, ferry, or make use of a shared bicycle.
There are loads and loads and loads of points of interest, tourist attractions, and scenic spots you're going to want to check out. Here's the thing. Most of them, if not all of them, require a reservation. Whether there's a ticket price or not, you still need to make a reservation. Now, thankfully, every one of these locations has an official WeChat account. So you simply open up your WeChat, you type in the location into the search bar. I'm going to go with Shanghai Museum and search. There it is, Shanghai Museum reservation. Here's a problem. Everything is in Chinese. There's no other language. There's no English here. So unless your Mandarin is solid, you're going to need a little bit of help. If you're feeling a little bit peckish, Alipay can also be used to order food. You simply open up the app and you tap takeout, and that will take you to Ele.me, which is China's Uber Eats or DoorDash. Now, what makes the Alipay version different is that there's this handy-dandy translate function down here, because Ele.me is all in Chinese. You hit the translate, and everything is translated for you, so you know exactly what you're getting.
If you find yourself at a diner or a restaurant that only has a Chinese menu, you can just use your phone to take a photo and then use whatever translator app you have to change the Chinese characters into English or whatever language you want.
If you want to travel to another city nearby, a high-speed train is the simplest way to get there.
Well, security check's pretty standard. I'm through. Now, when you approach the gates, they have scanners, but they only work for Chinese ID cards. I don't have one of those, and chances are you don't either. But there's always one window where there's an attendant. You can show them your passport, and they'll let you through. No problem at all. There's lots of different ways you can buy a train ticket. There's a phone app, there's the automatic machines over there, and of course, the ticket window. Now, if you're a passport holder, meaning you don't have a Chinese ID card, your best bet is to go to one of these windows because, well, you can actually talk to a human, they can sort you out, and you leave with a ticket. One ticket to Suzhou, please.
Today?
Yes, ma'am.
On a Suzhou or Suzhou Bay?
Suzhou Bay.
Today, 11:34 to Suzhou Bay. Arrive Suzhou Bay 12:08. One ticket, first class, window seat. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Bye.
Well, that was easy. Gotta make sure to have your passport handy, even though you have a ticket.
Okay.
谢谢. Now remember, if you're staying at a hotel, you can always ask the front desk to help you book train tickets. But if you have to do it yourself, it's not that difficult. There's usually always someone behind the counter who can speak English.
And that's pretty much it. I hope this video helps you prepare for your trip. Please leave a comment if you have any questions or suggestions.
Il y a un grand bâtiment. Ensemble, c'est quelque chose de rouge. On devient une coopération.
Mark? Bonjour. Là-bas. For 72-year-old Mark Delabache, Shanghai couldn't be more familiar. He's visited Shanghai at least 4 times a year for the last 31 years.
Bonjour Marc, ça va toi? Bien arrivé, voyage, ça va?
Marc is a French medical researcher and a coordinator at the Sino-French Joint Medical School of Shanghai Jiaotong University School of Medicine. Every time he visits, he spends some time teaching. So how about your feeling of visiting Shanghai for this medical program this time?
Et donc, à chaque fois, et cette fois-ci, comme chaque fois, je suis très très heureux de venir aider ces étudiants à aller plus loin et à avoir des connaissances que on a nous.
Are there anything that's changed?
Oh, it's typical. C'est une rue typique de Shanghai.
Marc got a bit emotional as it's the last time he will teach at the university. He cannot wait to see his Chinese students.
Voilà, alors après, eh ben, il y avait tout en haut le centre franco-chinois et donc les cours, on les a fait là-haut. Les bâtiments de l'hôpital, il n'existait pas et il n'y avait pas non plus dans l'hôpital, dans la fac, on ne le voit pas ici, mais il y a un grand bâtiment qui n'existait pas, qui est tout neuf et donc j'ai vu tout construire depuis que je viens et à chaque fois c'était plus moderne.
Academic exchanges between Shanghai and French medical schools date back to a century ago. When the Aurora University School of Medicine, the predecessor of Shanghai Jiaotong University School of Medicine, was established in 1903. The school opened its first French class on clinical medicine in 1964, the year when China established formal diplomatic relations with France. And in 1997, the French program was formally incorporated into the framework of cultural and educational cooperation between Chinese and French governments. In 2013, an 8-year program was accredited by China's Ministry of Education as the country's first international joint doctoral medical program.
C'est des colorants qui sont fixés sur soit l'anticorps.
Marc first came to Shanghai in 1993 with Fan Qishi, a Chinese researcher who worked and studied genetic and prenatal diagnostics in his lab in France for 7 years. And their connection with China started after they met Chen Zhu, who later joined Chinese Academy of Sciences.
Mais les deux autres, il n'y en a pas beaucoup.
Non. Le professeur Chen Zhu, qui avait lui fait sa thèse aussi à Paris, et je lui avais expliqué ce qu'on faisait, et il était très intéressé que cette jeune femme, qui s'appelle Fan Qishi, retourne à Shanghai et fasse du diagnostic prénatal et de la génétique là-bas. Et donc, je l'ai accompagnée à Shanghai en 94 pour voir comment elle pourrait s'installer et voir ce qu'on pouvait faire. C'est quel gène? C'est un gène? C'est un virus?
Oui, il y a...
Chen and Marc eventually developed a class on molecular genetics in Shanghai. It was during this time that Marc was invited by a French biologist who had been working at the university to teach Chinese students. Since then, Marc has been actively involved in exchanges and cooperation between Shanghai and French medical schools. In 2018, a Sino-French joint medical school was established at Shanghai Jiaotong University School of Medicine, and Marc was appointed deputy dean of the school.
Et on croyait des tas de choses qui en fait...
Each year, Marc spends around 60 days teaching life sciences to students at the school. Students are taught to conduct scientific research as well as clinical practice. Marc also recommends qualified students for residencies in French hospitals.
让我们可以去法国看看他们的医疗体系以及他们的学习内容，其实和中国还是有蛮多差异存在的。然后这样通过交流学习回来，我觉得我们也是一个更有开阔视野和思辨性的一个学生。
Et ils sont très heureux, surtout quand ils viennent en France, de découvrir que ça peut être autrement et que chaque système a ses avantages. Il y a des inconvénients, il y a des avantages. Et puis, moi, je fais de la génétique et les maladies génétiques, ça s'arrête pas à la frontière. La maladie génétique, c'est le monde entier, il y en a partout. Il y a plus de 8000 maladies héréditaires. Il y a un travail énorme à faire. Donc, mettre tout le monde ensemble, c'est quelque chose d'extrêmement important.
À partir des années 90, en utilisant des sons.
Over the past 4 decades, more than 450 French medical professionals like Marc have spent time teaching at the School of Medicine in Shanghai. The school has sent over 300 students to France for a 1-year residency, during which time they issue prescriptions and perform surgeries at local hospitals. When they return, they continue working with French hospitals in areas like pancreatic cancer, hematology, and internal medicine. Around 230 French medical students also received internships at Shanghai hospitals. Many students have become leading experts in the medical field. 100-year-old Professor Wang Zhengyi is one of them. He's an expert in internal medicine and hematology, and a member of the Chinese Academy of Engineering. He's known for his research in improving the survival of patients with acute promyelocytic leukemia. The vice president of Ruijin Hospital, Shen Baiyong, has long been engaged in the diagnosis and treatment of pancreatic cancer after graduating from the medical school. He's the first surgeon in China to perform robot-assisted minimally invasive surgery in the treatment of pancreatic tumors. He was awarded the Legion of Honor in 2022, the highest national decoration in France.
Et je me souviens aussi bien, c'est que professeur Liu a... Oui, au commencement, surtout, on commence par l'année 1980-1990. Le niveau médical français est plus haut que le nôtre. Et on apprend des choses, on forme les internes et aussi on apprend les nouvelles techniques. Et petit à petit, nous, l'ouvert et réforme pour nos pays, pour la Chine, et on se développe très rapide. La distance entre les deux pays devient de moins en moins. Même aujourd'hui, dans certains domaines, par exemple dans les domaines de chirurgie robotique, et nous sommes un peu meilleurs que nos collègues français. Mais ce n'est pas l'important. L'important, c'est qu'on apprendre les choses, les bonnes choses, l'un l'autre. Mais de petit à petit, de plus en plus, on devient une coopération.
Besides the exchanges in medical education, the school is engaging in even more cooperation with French medical institutes in scientific research.
比如说我们现在免疫所，它是和马赛的免疫的这个研究院进行了合作，有非常好的医学科研的这个成果的产出。我们今年也特别高兴，来自尼斯的一位法国的科学家他也成为了我们中国工程院的外籍院士。我们可能要从原来我们更多的是聚焦临床医学，我们可能要打开这个多学科的一种中法医学交流的这个窗口。比如说我们在医学科技领域，还有我们在护理、公共卫生领域，其实有很多可以合作的方面。
2024 marks the 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and France. And the Sino-French Joint Medical School is the epitome of the cooperation between these two countries. Mark is about to retire, but he and his colleagues' relationship with China won't end. Exchanges between Chinese and French medical institutions will continue and are sure to bear fruit.
Okay, here goes. What? 82 kilos. That must be like 170 pounds. Okay, here's where I stand. I had a baby and I gained 40 pounds during pregnancy and another 10 pounds during breastfeeding. Ouch. I'd been to a Western doctor. He's checked all of my hormones. Everything's normal. And he said, in that case, my advice to you would be go home and eat less.
Problem is, I developed a monstrous appetite since pregnancy. I feel hungry all the time. Every night after dinner, I have to eat an additional pizza like this. I have fluid retention, I feel like a hippo, exercise only increases my gluttony, and the Western medicine doctor doesn't seem to know what's wrong with me. Hence, I decided to invoke an ancient power from the East.
好，第一次打针我都给你用这种常规针，下次打针的话，我们就会用这种长针。
They're like needles for elephants. I have blockage in my liver. I have weak digestion and metabolism. I'm using too much of my liver blood and I have a heart flame. Actually not as bad as I could have been.
The scare surpasses the sting.
I think I already burned 100 calories just now.
The needle prick is barely noticeable.
The doctor said I should relax and fall asleep for 20 minutes.
Dr. Wang told me not to intentionally cut back on food intake or drastically change my exercise routine, which is nice.
It was nice and warm, and I was mostly relaxed during the process, and otherwise I didn't feel like anything. I've been instructed to press these buttons about 15 minutes before I have each meal, and that's going to reduce my appetite.
And here I begin an 8-week experiment.
Whoa, very impressive number.
20 minutes per needle session, 2 to 3 times a week. No dieting, no weight loss medications or supplements. It's just me and the needles.
I am now 1 week into my treatment. A regular lunchbox from a regular Shanghai convenience store.
To be fair, the lunchbox tasted kind of bad. But the needles did shorten the amount of time it takes from being hungry to being full. Now when the food is down, it can stay there for a little longer. But let me lay it out. I don't even dream to go back to this. I'd be extremely happy just to look somewhere around the midway point. We'll see.
Today we're using these. They're to access the qi in the areas that are particularly puffy. Well, this is like 10 centimeters, 15.
Dr. Wang punctures with precision. The giant needles go in my thighs. There's no pain. But there's this horrible twitching feel when the needle touches the trigger points. Some twitch more than others.
I've also been instructed to keep breathing.
针灸它是去刺激你的穴位，增强你身体里面强大的自愈功能，然后让整体的一个经络达到平衡，这样你就能达到一个比较健康、平和又能够瘦下来的状态。
When practiced well, acupuncture can stimulate your body to move energy around, so it doesn't feel like it needs to keep eating all the time to stay alive. The body then starts using its fat.
It is now 8 a.m. and the size of my daily breakfast has gone from about 1 bagel with cream cheese to some oats. This much. Which is saying a lot because about a month and a half ago, I can finish this whole box of cereal in about 2 sittings.
I know I won't get hungry until noon. I don't eat snacks, but I still have to eat 2 dinners, though the portions are now smaller.
In this world, 3 things never lie: your clothes, the camera, the weight scale. Okay, that's like 5-6 pounds in 4 weeks. This is really impressive.
Which is in consideration of A, I basically stopped exercising, and B, I don't feel I'm starving myself for a second.
Lunch. This part has gone down so much. And if I were to shrink this a little bit more, I'd be great.
Yes, a woman can look gorgeous in any shape as long as they're healthy, but I just still miss the way I used to be. Halfway through the course, the needles now hurt so much more than before. Dr. Wang says it's because I'm losing my cover of fat.
I'm dead.
Over time, I no longer feel nothing when the needles are in. Now it's slightly sore under my skin along the arms and legs. The doctor says that is Jingluo, the meridians.
其实做到现在呢，并没有发现经络像神经一样能够解剖出来、能够看得到的。但是我们拿经络敏感人，拿小朋友他对着他这个穴位去，就是像这种灸治一样，然后小朋友会觉得有一股水流沿着这个往上跑，它的一个走形就是你的气血通过的一个通道。
I feel mush.
It was never specified who discovered Jingluo. It's only known that TCM physicians over thousands of years have been learning through experience and recording that knowledge.
Going to work. Oh, great! This facial recognition machine has refused to recognize me for months and months and months. But today, something's changed.
Slowly, I notice I'm getting my face back. And I went from this to this. In any weight loss scenario, people say you should eat less and exercise more. But due to some physical conditions, one may find it virtually impossible to eat less.
Highly undelicious.
And I realized acupuncture may change that status quo and help me start a new routine. Across China, all over the street, you'd find day spas that claim to be able to improve your health by burning, cupping, and scraping. Cupping is now practiced in Western countries. On Sephora's US website, you'll find jade gua sha tools. All of these are, of course, only TCM-derived home therapies. A licensed acupuncturist needs to know much more.
在中国，主要的我们一些中医药大学，他们都要学习一个西医的一个通识课程的。就比如说要学正常人体解剖，要学我们的病理学、药理学，还有就是生理学，还学我们的西医诊断学、西医内科学、西脉科学。
A quirk with acupuncture is that your treatment heavily depends on the doctor. They may interpret your bodily balances differently. They could use different trigger points. They have different levels of proficiency when using the needles, which lead to varying results.
我是一名泰国人，然后我来上海中医药大学学了5年的本科。我觉得我大概需要10多年才能到老那个王医生的那个水准。
By week 5, I noticed my silhouette is noticeably smaller. But the effect isn't just skin deep. I sleep so much better. In TCM Classics, a doctor's highest mission is not to cure, but to prevent.
I feel a little bit of trepidation because this is the day of revelation. These were my measurements 2 months ago. See how they change now? Which is pretty amazing considering there's no substance entering the body. All that happened was needle pricks. Do you think I've lost some weight?
Yeah, you've definitely shed some pounds.
Thank you!
2 months, 20 treatments, 500 needles, 9 pounds.
Do you want to know how much is 9 pounds? This is 9 pounds.
I imagine I could have achieved more given dietary guidance and more exercise, but compared to how heavy I used to feel, I'm extremely satisfied. I really enjoy the process, which is more comfortable than a crash course in exercise and diet. I wanted to find out exactly how well needles work without other variables, and I did. I'd say it's a total win. At times when neither you nor your doctor understands your body, I would totally recommend acupuncture it.
"25 million people mean 25 million bellies grumbling at all hours of the day. So what do they eat?" It turns out almost everything from around the world. Shanghai has a smorgasbord of Chinese cuisines and an impressive array of international foods and restaurants. With some effort and a decent budget, you could probably go months without eating the same thing twice. For local Shanghainese, Huanghe Road conjures fond memories of great meals and happy times. And while it may have lost some of its luster over the years as new places emerged, it's experiencing a renaissance of sorts. Why? Well, it's got to do with the hit television series Blossoms. It is acclaimed film director Wong Kar-wai's first TV series. The 65-year-old was born in Shanghai before moving to Hong Kong. The nostalgic series brings people back to Shanghai in the 1990s.
我们黄河路算算只有755米，每一个饭店都有自己的特色。
As one of the main locations, Huanghe Road was a popular area for business startups and restaurants where many food trends emerged. Fans of the show have naturally gravitated toward the restaurants on Huanghe Road. Demand is such these days that you'll need to book a table at least 1 month in advance.
I just arrived from Pudong International Airport in the morning. After a rest, I went outside and saw this big crowd. I was quite impressed. Well, what's happening here?
是因为看了《繁花》的电视剧，然后我们就来黄河路这边打卡一下。
我是刚刚下飞机天津的，然后也是看了《繁花》过来凑凑热闹。
后来因为小辰光就是那个晓得吧，所以拍了有的这《繁花》买了发就很熟悉嘛，所以我就来过2趟了。
Huanghe Road is on the northern edge of People's Square in Huangpu District and intersects with West Nanjing Road to the south. You may have heard of Nanjing Road, known as the #1 commercial street in China. In the early 1990s, Nanjing Road was often packed with people coming to see the new commercial buildings, cultural centers, and the Grand Cinema. But there was a problem. People had to queue for hours to get a meal, as there were not enough restaurants. The local government responded, and within 8 months, Huanghe Road was developed into a gourmet street filled with eateries that led to a bustling atmosphere.
那道菜呢，稍微聚一聚，那么等到这种地方呢，或者比较少位。
原来就是你自己呢，老少我几个老少，没几个人家，就在你开始呢又多了。
The number of restaurants on the 755-meter-long street went from dozens to almost 100 between 1993 and 1996. They were often open all night. Most of the dishes are home-cooked styles. Sichuan, Hunan, Guizhou, Cantonese, and of course Shanghai dishes are plentiful. Stewed turtle soup with black chicken, stir-fried shredded eel with hot oil and ginger, sautéed shrimps. These Yangtze River Delta dishes became best sellers at Cantonese restaurant Yue Wei Guan. Beer steamed shrimp, candied lotus root. All these were popular hits on Huanghe Road.
肯定就是要提出不同的要求，不同的层次，阿拉尽量满足人家。即使菜谱里向没个菜，阿拉要肯定点得出，阿拉要烧出来。
当时人山人海，不得了哎，比现在南京路人还多，每天吃饭在排队，所以我又不可一切的。甚至呢，做破了饭店我卖脱，甚至呢自家屋里向房子卖脱，搞装修的。人家讲不啊，我总归不过一趟。
In 1996, the nightlife on Huanghe Road attracted more than 1 million diners from around the world. There were about 1,000 different dishes available. And Huanghe Road was not alone. A quick glance at Lonely Planet travel guides, you would find Zhapu Road in Hongkou District, Wujiang Road in Jing'an District, Jingxian Road in Luwan District, which later merged into Huangpu District, and Xianxia Road in Changning District, all famous dining areas in Shanghai.
想吃上海比较特色的东西，就譬如说我们现在准备要去吃那个沪西什么老弄堂那个面店必吃坊。小杨生煎算吗？
小杨生煎。
So do you know the story of Yang's fried dumplings? Began on old Wujiang Road in 1994. The pork is stuffed in a fluffy yet crispy dumpling wrapper that satisfies on every level. Now, the dumplings are available in its nearly 300 chain outlets across the Yangtze River Delta region. Other street food has emerged since the 1990s, meeting the faster pace and changing trends of people in Shanghai. Tender Hangzhou cuisine, fiery Sichuan dishes, Cantonese dim sum, and Taiwan snacks have all been hits. Even international flavors have spread rapidly. Before the 1990s, international cuisine in Shanghai consisted of mostly French, American, Italian, or Russian. Later, more Asian flavors like Japanese, Korean, Singaporean, and Malaysian have been introduced in Shanghai. People had more choices.
There are a few good Italian restaurants in Shanghai. There is one called Bella Napoli. Very good Italian restaurant with great pizza. I love pizzas. One of our favorite restaurants in Shanghai is Latina. It's also nearby the Jing'an Jiali.
The number of restaurants in Shanghai serving food other than Chinese cuisine now exceeds 13,000, the most in the country. There are currently 101 Michelin restaurants and 66 Black Pearl restaurants in Shanghai. The number of chain restaurant brands headquartered here has reached 27, ranking first in the country for 5 consecutive years. When you open Yelp or Dianping, No matter where you are, it's easy to find various Chinese cuisines, far more than the 8 major components, as well as Western food. Shopping malls also offer a variety of restaurants and have been a popular place since the 2000s when meeting friends for dinner.
我和我朋友就是经常来这边嘛，然后我们就是觉得这里它比较的多元。就比如说刚刚我和我朋友吃完了那个西塔老太太，楼下有一间那个泡泡玛特，我们也可以去看一看，因为这边可以满足大家不同的需求嘛，就不单单只是吃饭，看电影呐、购物啊，甚至美容啊什么的，就还挺多的。
In downtown Shanghai, arts and leisure spaces inspire a more refined public appetite. Art galleries and boutiques are often surrounded by cafes serving brunch, patisseries, wine cellars, bistros, and restaurants. Wukang Road, Anfu Road, Yuyuan Road, and Shanxi Road are all good places to check out.
就是安福路那边有那个野兽派呀、话剧院啊，就那个附近的几家店去逛。上海主要就是每条路有每条路的特色，然后还有各种美食，就是不同于其他城市的这种文化沉淀。
你随便去一个小小的街区，然后里面都会有随机偶遇的咖啡厅，我觉得这是他们会给你一种惊喜的感觉，是特别好的。
Service and even decor are big components when eating out, especially with the rise of social media.
这边武康路嘛，毕竟是网红街嘛，很多网红，韩国的，之前夏天的时候，好多网红都在发微博直播。
那我们这边的品类也是一直会出新品，是吗？
对，会不断的更新。比如夏天啊，它会有草莓、桃子啊，各种口味都有的。苹果、开心果是灵芝的。
Speedy delivery, excellent ingredients, high-level service. Businesses need to keep finding new things to develop loyal customers. Dining out also offers different comforts than home.
感觉喝咖啡，除了能够就是品尝它咖啡本身的味道，还有就是咖啡店的环境，然后它能够给我的那种感觉、情绪价值，更重要。
Even the traditional Shikumen houses, including Xintiandi, Fengshengli, and Hongshoufang, feature trendy dining outlets. Park Hotel is near Huanghe Road, and it was the tallest building in Asia in the 1930s and 40s. It now has a bakery. The smell of its buttery palmiers wafts in the air. So, whether you're looking for xiaolongbao, fried dill sticks, wontons in soup, spicy hot pot, or foie gras, sushi, Greek salad, chicken masala, and even a beefy burger, Shanghai has got it all.
Guys, walking is too slow, driving is too fast, cycling is the best way to savor Shanghai.
Shanghai is a perfect city for cycling, first because it has cycling lines everywhere, second it's almost flat. This city almost designed for cycling, so I'm enjoying riding riverside because it has a cycling line from both sides, so you can make a loop around 60 kilometers.
现在有很多新的滨江的骑行道，它规划得非常好，本身就有设计感的路，因为它不是光一个直道，它会有很多坡道、弯道来改善你的骑行的一些技巧。
The Riverside Greenway is originally built by the Shanghai government for the slow traffic system. It has 3 lanes for cycling, for running, and for walking. This means there are 25 kilometers of lanes without traffic lights in downtown Shanghai. You can ride all the way till the end to the south wall and then take a selfie. 其实上海周末还是有蛮多活动的，有咖啡骑、休闲骑，也有这种竞速骑或者是小朋友的亲子骑，大家就可以根据自己的需求去选。
然后它也会根据你的个人的骑行能力，会有不同的组别让你去参加。
很快你就会融入这个团队。现在的上海其实骑行的人已经越来越多了，公路车也好，山地车也好，还有城市车也好。
In addition to cycling, there are many venue-based activities in Shanghai, such as skateboarding, frisbee, flag football, hockey, and so on. You can always find a lot of like-minded friends here and develop your hobbies together. Shanghai is a very inclusive city. You can always be who you want to be here.
This was the first official meeting of the two presidents of the two most powerful countries after a series of relation crises during and after the pandemic. Unexpectedly, though, as Biden met with Xi Jinping, this detail caught his eyes.
Beautiful vehicle. Cadillac we have over there, they call it the Beast.
And the attention of the press. Joe Biden's official presidential car is Cadillac One, otherwise known as the Beast. So is its Chinese counterpart the Beauty? Xi Jinping's tailored ride is a Hongqi N701. It might be similar to the Beast. However, one special feature about this huge beauty is that despite rocking a 6-liter V12 engine that puts out 408 horsepower, it's a hybrid car.
The president, accompanied by Carrie Lam, met with
And 701 made its debut in July 2022 in Hong Kong with Xi Jinping, and then accompanied him to the G20 summit in Bali, Indonesia last November. Yes, it's beautiful, but it's so much more than that. Back to 2012, in Xi Jinping's first term of office, he told his senior officials that the governments at all levels should pick Chinese brand vehicles as their official cars rather than foreign brands. It's not appropriate, and lots of foreign leaders use cars from their own country. Xi was not the first to say so. 65 years ago, Mao Zedong had the same thoughts. Mao once asked, "When can I sit in a car built by ourselves?" 9 years before Mao made that wish, China had just been reborn from decades of wars and turmoil. The sedan used by Mao Zedong was a gift from Stalin. However, the two countries would soon split, which made it more difficult to maintain and use Soviet-made vehicles in China. Look at these figures. You'll find China back then was the least developed country, with some agriculture and almost no industry. The Northeast was devoted to the heavy industries, including the auto industry. Hongqi was born there. Only with strong industrial support can auto industry flourish. The US presidents have their Lincolns and Cadillacs like Biden's Beast. Putin has his Urus Sonata, Schultz, Mercedes-Benz, and Sunak, Range Rover or Jaguar. Riding these cars during overseas visits are heads of state saying, "I got your back" to their own car makers. However, only a handful of countries had such power. On August 1st, 1958, Mao Zedong's wish came true. Mao's custom-made Hongqi was launched. Now China too had that power. Since then, it became a tradition that on national days, Chinese leaders review the troops in Tiananmen Square in a Hongqi.
Then President Hu Jintao started his review of
57 years after the first Hongqi, President Xi Jinping was in the same scenario. On National Day at the Chang'an Avenue, reviewing the forces in the sedan Hongqi. China rocketed to become the world's second largest economy in 2010 as its GDP kept soaring. China's domestic auto industry was extremely active. More than 100 local brands exported around 540,000 vehicles that year. Since Xi's speech in 2012, Hongqi is being widely used in governments and during state events home and abroad. Alright, that's the story behind the conversations at the beginning of this video. It's never easy for a beauty to become one. Hongqi, or red flag in Chinese, indicates its origin. Red is the color of China. Flag is a symbol of the call for union and success on the battlefield. The red flag, Hongqi, tells China's national spirit and faith. In 2018, during his meet with President Xi, Putin tried his hand at making baozi. With a little help from the chefs, the Russian leader managed to shape the baozi. Imagine this, China sells 639 billion yuan worth of baozi a year, with each one priced at only 2 yuan on average. This humble yet widely loved food bears witness to how China feeds its 1.4 billion people. In 1949, Dean Acheson, then U.S. Secretary of State, said that the communist government would be unable to feed its 546 million population, just like its predecessors. His assertions did not come from nowhere. After years of war and turmoil, when the People's Republic was founded in 1949, it was struggling with only 100 billion kilograms of grain per year, which translates to 0.5 kilograms for each Chinese person per day. In fact, China's food challenges are deeply rooted in its geography. The country is huge. How huge? China spans 62 degrees in longitude, crossing 5 time zones from west to east. The latitude covers about 50 degrees, spanning roughly 5,500 kilometers from north to south. It's squeezed in between the world's largest continent, Eurasia, and the biggest ocean, Pacific. The temperature gap between land and sea makes the rainfall in the country so much more unpredictable and uneven. This poses a great challenge to the production of grains, including wheat, the key ingredient of baozi. Henan province in central China is the country's top wheat producer. 1 in 4 Chinese baozi is made with Henan wheat. Last May, Henan was soaked during wheat harvest season. Many areas were hit with over 100 millimeters of rainfall in days. Some cities got 6 months worth of rain in only 1 week. However, also in Henan just a year ago, the province simmered in 37 degrees Celsius for 64 rainless days, the biggest drought since 1961. Long before 1949, Mao Zedong said that water projects are the lifeline of agriculture. Building reservoirs was his answer. Mao took an active part, joined by nationwide workers. From 1950 to 1976, Chinese people built over 85,000 reservoirs, covering a total area the size of Ireland. The construction never stopped. Today, China's irrigated land has grown from an initial 16 million hectares in 1949 to over 69 million hectares, larger than the size of France. China is the world's leading nation in irrigation. During Henan's severe drought in 2022, 660 million cubic meters of water was released from reservoirs into the fields. That's enough to fill over 260,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Henan's wheat yield rose by 0.3% that year, reaching 38 billion kilograms, enough to make over 1,500 billion baozi. That's the story behind baozi. 75 years after Acheson's words, the 1.4 billion Chinese people are not only able to feed themselves, but also lending out a helping hand to others. Baozi isn't just President Xi's favorite or Mr. Putin's newly acquired skill. It's always a common sight on Chinese people's menus. If you're planning a trip to China, remember to take a bite of this symbol of the Chinese harvest. Stepping off the plane in a light blue scarf underneath a dark trench coat. This was Peng Liyuan's debut on the global political stage. She'd been a well-known folk singer and vocal professor in China, but this time she was there as Xi Jinping's wife. Elegant, steadfast, the West was expecting Xi's lady would bring something different to China's world image. Before meeting her husband, Peng had gained huge fame as a singer in the PLA on the stage of the annual Chinese New Year Gala, perhaps the most watched TV show on earth. When she shifted her role from a folk singer to the First Lady of China, Peng did it differently from her predecessors. Within the first 6 months, Peng Liyuan was included in the Forbes list of most powerful women for 2013 and Time's list of 100 most influential people of that year. She also graced Vanity Fair's best dressed list. You may think, what makes her or her wardrobe such a huge hit? Well, it's Chinese, but that's not all. Colorful whites seem to be Peng's favorite. When she visited the UK in 2015, her pure white suit seemed graceful. White is one of the 5 traditional primary colors in China. It's frozen ice, snowflakes, and mellow moonlight. Here, white is not something abstract, but something you can touch and feel. Jade white, warm and soft. White blossoms in spring, pure and fresh. White hair of mythic horses, mysterious and powerful. On the ancient ink wash paintings, there's also white, space intentionally left blank for the viewer's imaginations. Another most in color in Peng's wardrobe is cyan, a color floating between green and blue. It can be the vigorous flora in spring or brightened sky after a storm. Peng Liyuan didn't build her own image separately, but brings her husband Xi into this game of colors. Most of the time, their outfits echo each other. A tea green dress and a tea green tie, a royal blue coat and a royal blue tie, a cyan scarf and a cyan tie, a mulberry red handbag and a mulberry red tie, a spotted scarf and tie. Sometimes they're complementary. Vermilion and black green, scarlet and royal blue. A sharp contrast, yes, but complementary nonetheless.